Up in the air, and then we used to roll them into the tent. Swear to God, that's how we used to do it. And the fire department, that was the way we'd be at Jack Benny's house, at Gregory Peck's house, all people that you guys don't even know anymore. I bring up those names in my office. I used to do parties with Gregory Peck, Jimmy Stewart. They don't even know who the hell those are anymore. All the tents used to be green and white striped canvas, red and white striped canvas. There were actually center poles in tents, which were very cool. You know, you could decorate, you could light off of them. They were fun to put up. I also remember the days, and maybe some of you older people can remember, when you used to get big giant orders, you know, like 4 months in advance instead of 2 days in advance. 40% of our business, I got back into the business about 12 years ago after selling Classic, and I couldn't believe it. It was nuts. Everybody calls it 40%, 50% of our business. No kidding, right? Am I right out there? 40 to 50% of our business comes from all you event planners. What's the deal with you guys?
Preach on, baby, preach on.
Yeah, so I've been around for a long time, but I hopefully go for a lot longer. I'd like to me and my ego would like to, I got a little bit of an ego, like to thank Lisa Hurley, the advisory board of Special Events Magazine. Both of us are truly humbled. This all started out. This all started out when I needed a car. I used to work for a construction company, and I always worked. I used to work for a printer, a newspaper, at night folding papers off the press. And tell me if I'm going more than 3 minutes, because I know I will. Am I all right?
We don't have work to
back in 1969,
we don't work for you.
I worked for United Rental Franchise, which Billy alluded to. After I used to climb up like 3-story ladders and do shingles and knock down walls for a contractor. I wanted to buy this 57 MGA, and it was $500. And so I needed to make money, and I wasn't making enough money. So after school, I got a job working weekends, washing dishes, cleaning Samsonite chairs in the parking lot with Clorox and a scrub brush, sharpening lawnmower blades, tuning up rototillers. I used to wash dishes, and then kind of liked it. I used to work with this other guy named Randy, and he used to wash dishes and watch the rental TVs in the back room. And then one day my boss comes in and he goes, "Hey, we got this order and it's out in Bel Air. We don't have anybody to deliver it. He goes, "You got your license, right?" I think I was 16. I just got my license. He goes, "Hey, do you think you can drive one of those big trucks?" I go, "It's a big truck." You know, the biggest thing I ever drove since then was my father's Cadillac at the Rose Bowl learning how to drive. You know, and somebody would say, "Yeah, I can probably do it." You know, me and my testosterone, yeah, let's go for it, you know? So I got in the truck. I told him, I said, "Let me drive it around Bob's Big Boy a little bit and see if I get used to the mirrors." And I said, I could probably do it. So they got all the dishes ready. We loaded them up. It was a last-minute thing back then, kind of like unheard of back then, not like today. So anyway, so I got my Thomas Brothers map book out. I was by myself, and I drove this big, it was a big truck. It was 20 feet long, the box. You know, in a cab, this big GMC Chevrolet truck, and I drove it to Bel Air. I got lost about 3 times. I finally made it, and I'm by myself. And so I get to the address on Benedict Canyon Road, and I look up and I go, "Holy shit, how the hell am I going to get this truck up this driveway?" It was a big movie star. I forget who the movie star was. I kind of like didn't even know, but backed it out, got it out of Benedict Canyon, went for it, put the left foot in the clutch, put it in R, and up the hill, took out a few bushes, screamed a little bit. I don't know what the hell I was doing. But I backed the truck up, and I got out, and this is when I'll start crying. That was when I just had an epiphany. I pulled up, I put the truck in gear, and I got out, and I was by myself, and there were probably, you know, a quarter of a truckload of dishes. And I got out, and I saw this pink, it was a pink and black striped tent by Canvas Specialty. Back then, they were the big tent company, and they were probably the biggest tent company in the United States. And it was a 60 by 120 pink and black tent. I walked in. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd never been anything like that. I grew up in La Cañada, a little suburb north of Los Angeles. I didn't know anything. You know, I'm Italian. We used to get cold cuts from the Italian deli. That was our parties. And so I walk into this, and I go, holy shit. And it was beautiful. And I remember the tent, it had satin drapes, it had an ocean of tables, gold chairs, No Tournay. Does anybody remember No Tournay? No Tournay was up there with a full-blown big orchestra with a stage like this. And then we built out the tunes, the event planner at the time. Back then there were no event planners, there were just caterers. And the event planner was, I guess he was the event planner, I don't know who he was. He was in like a maitre d' desk, and he was going, oh boy, you know, and I went over, and I got the dishes, I backed up the, okay, drop them off over here. And when I left there, I said, that's what I want to do. I loved it. I loved it. And never really a big student in school. Used to ditch a lot. Actually, I got pretty good grades, but then I got caught smoking in the boys' room, and they suspended me, so I told them, I quit. You know, I thought I was in a band, I was going to be a rock and roll star. And so anyway, so I quit, I started crying, I called my father up, he came to pick me up. But I still like working at United Rental. Then my girlfriend one day, we were sitting there looking at the paper, and I thought I was going to go sell envelopes for the rest of my life. And so anyway, so she saw this ad, Abby Rents. Loved Abby Rents. I got a job, went down there, I applied, I was in my disco suit, big disco suit, 4-inch, I was skinny. I think I weighed 130 pounds, had long hair, a beard, very Bee Gees. Got the job, looked the part, got the job, and they made me the assistant manager of Glendale. And I did pretty good. I loved the business. Abby back then was like the juggernaut. They had 64 stores coast to coast. I was the youngest. I got promoted. I'm not going to bore you with all the in-between shit here.
He's cool.
Huh?
Just later.
No, I'll go to Mr. Levin. Okay, so anyway, so fast forward. So anyway, so love Abby Rents. Went into business with Dick Siegel. Love him. Worked with a bunch of guys that are dead now that I loved. And I think about Carl Levin, my mentor. If anybody's in the audience that still remembers Carl Levin, he was the head party consultant at Beverly Hills Abbey Rents. Bob Berman, Russ Tilke, Lila Zaris, they all trained me. I love them. It was a different kind of a business. I walk around the showroom floor now, and I was telling some of the younger guys, God, when we used to come to these shows, it was like white folding chairs. You know, I think the most exotic thing was a 66-inch round table in between a 60 and a 72. You know. Anyway, yes. So anyway, Abby got bought out by a medical company. Then they wanted us to sell potty chairs and hospital beds. And all of us party guys, well, what the hell's going on? We all used to talk on the phone. That's part of the other thing I love about this business. We all get on the phone, we all talk to each other. Even though we're competitors, we all love each other. Even our enemy competitors, we love. You know? And we all used to talk. So we we all left. Everybody left at the same time. We opened up different businesses. We were all competitors, but we were all fun. We had the same accountants, lawyers. We shared different services and stuff like that. And that was a lot of fun. Dick Siegel and I left. We used to work together at Abbey. We opened up, got pretty successful. He was Mr. Inside, I was Mr. Outside. Didn't get along. He had a wife that we didn't get along at the time. I told him to get a divorce. But now we're friends. We patch things up. Okay, all right. So anyway, so I gotta go on. So anyway, so long story short, with a $5,000 loan from my Aunt Gladys, who love you. She lent me money. I teamed up with my attorney at the time. We borrowed some money. We started Classic Party Metals. 20 years later, after success, sold it, retired, page 12, retired way too early, didn't know what I was going to do, lost my identity, invented myself. I used to build furniture and Norm Abrams, Yankee Workshop. Anyway, then everybody was stopping by. Hey, when my non-compete was up, and they go, when are you going to start it? All my employees started calling me. My own employees. Clients were calling me. Oh, Classic's getting too big. Oh, they charge too much. When are you going to get back into it? Okay, twist my arm. Twist my arm. So, went to Germany, went to a few trade shows. Decided I love to shop. Love trade shows. Went to Germany, bought a bunch of stuff, made up a list, and on the way back, I'll never forget it, my wife leans over and she goes, so, are you going to do it? And I go, yeah. So we ended up starting Town and Country. That was...
Ladies and gentlemen, our Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Next time, get a Lifetime Achievement that's less than mine. Anyway, in closing, started Town and Country. I've got the best people in the world. I got the best people, cast members. I would like to thank, because my mouth is dry and I can't even talk anymore. First off, I'd love to thank my wife who stuck with me. Has to listen to me talk way too much every now and then. My lovely and talented daughters, Gabby and Larry. I love them. I had 6 years to spend with them when they were little. That was great. I love coming home every night and having my doers on ice. It's been a blast. I'd like to thank everybody, my daytime wife, Chris Mackey. My strong right arm, my brother from a different mother. Sometimes we kill each other. We get stressed out. We fight, but it's good. I'd like to thank my sister Lisa. Always has my back. She's had my back for 30 years. Our Nubian office manager, Wayne Tay, we call him the Chinese Wonder Boy. Director of Operations, Christopher Kiesler. Hector Rodriguez, Juan Flores, our inventory guy that makes it happen. And last but not least, Carlos Romero.
Yeah, Carlos!
And makes every day special. I love you. Goodbye.
14 minutes.